Welcome back, Generals, to Mr. Bunal Gaming. I'm glad you're back in the war room with us today. Whether you're a veteran of the Napoleonic campaigns or you're just now picking up your first musket, pull up a chair. We've got some serious intelligence to go over regarding the future of the genre. For a while now, we've been living in what I like to call the War of Dots era. Now, don't get me wrong, I've spent plenty of hours with those minimalists, distilled RTS games. They are fantastic palate cleansers, and we've had some great times on this channel capturing cities with nothing but colored circles. But let's be honest, lately, that itch for true immersion has been getting stronger. We're moving past the abstraction, we're moving into an era of wargaming where you can actually smell the gunpowder, see the individual regiments waver, and feel the weight of a cavalry charge. We are entering a renaissance of line infantry tactics where the graphics and the realism are finally catching up with historic ambitions. Before we deploy the scouts and look at the lineup, I've got a quick order for the ranks. If you live for the sound of the volley and thrill of a perfectly timed flanking maneuver, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't joined the officer corps yet, hit subscribe so you never miss a briefing. It really helps the channel push through the fog of war and reach more generals like yourselves. Also, for those of you who want to take your commitment to the next level, I want to mention my Bunal Brigade. By joining our channel membership, you aren't just a viewer, you are directly funding the Bunal Empire and help supporting the war efforts. Remember, members get some exclusive perks and a front row seat to the expansion of this channel. Click that join button below and see how you can support the conquest. All right, enough talk. Today, we're looking at my top 5 picks for upcoming Napoleonic and 7 Years' War titles that every armchair general needs on their radar. From deep simulations to first-person duck-based chaos, yes, you heard that right. Here is what 2026 has in store for us. All right, generals, coming in at number 5, we have Lines of Battle. Now, generals, let's be real. This isn't the game you buy for 4K textures. The vibe here is strictly top-down and minimalist. It's clean, it functions, it looks like a high-stakes chess match played on a map that hasn't seen a drop of paint in 200 years.
It's only a model.
Don't let the simple looks fool you. The core game of this We Go system, unlike traditional turn-based games where I move then you move, here we both plot our orders in secret at the same time. You're not just reacting to what the enemy did, you're trying to calculate what they might do.
You see everything. You see the big board.
Here is where things get interesting. Once you've committed your move, you hit the play button and the game animates everything simultaneously for about 2 or 3 seconds. It's pure, unadulterated chaos. You'll watch your carefully formed lines march straight into a cornfield where the enemy cavalry accidentally teleports into your flank. It takes some serious getting used to. The graphics are just okay, but the depth is real. This isn't about the fog of war you can see, it's about the fog of war you have to predict. If you enjoy outthinking an opponent before a single shot is fired, keep an eye on this one. It's strange, it's chaotic, and it's definitely one for the tacticians. Okay, now moving on to number 4. We have a game we've seen on this channel before, Veterans Napoleonic Wars. Now, if you're the kind of general who gets a headache looking at supply lines, grain production, and tax rates, this is your game. There is no base building, no grand campaign map to manage. It's strictly gunpowder, steel, and the smell of sulfur. Visually, this game looks fairly decent. Though it leans into a bit of the cartoony, stylized aesthetic, it's got that Unity 6 polish, bright uniforms, high readability, which is great for when the smoke starts to fill the field. But I know some of you have strong feelings about this. I have to mention the comments you guys have been leaving on my previous video about this game. Some of you really like this game, but others think there are some serious potential issues for this Napoleonic title. I was honestly surprised by the heat in the comments section. If you haven't seen that debate yet, go and check out my last video to see which side of the line you fall on. Personally, I prefer a larger cohesive narrative a grand campaign, this is a dream for the competitive crowd. If you're coming over from my War of Dots videos world and you want that same tactical purity but an actual 3D battalion and realistic formations, Veterans is likely your next obsession. It's built for the leaderboard climbers. Moving in here on our number 3 spot for today is Kriegsspeil 7 Years War. Now, we have talked about this one too as well on the channel in the previous months, and let me tell you, this one is special. It is a labor of love from a one-man development team, and it's based directly on the original 18th century Prussian war game used to train actual officers. This isn't just a game, it's a digital restoration of military history. The realism here is uncompromising. Forget instant orders. In Kriegspiel, if you want your left flank to charge, you have to send a courier. That courier has to physically ride across the 3D terrain, and here's the kicker. They can be intercepted or killed. You might be sitting on your horse wondering why your cav is standing still, while miles away your messenger is being dealt with by the enemy. You aren't a god in the sky here. You are a general on the field. Maps are massive, over 100 square kilometers, and the field of vision is limited by actual 3D relief. If there's a hill in your way, you can't see what's behind it. You have to rely on reports from your officers, which, as we know from history, aren't always accurate. Despite being a solo project, the visuals here are actually pretty good. The flags and uniforms look fantastic, and the fog of war system is one of the clearest I've ever seen. It really captures that 18th century atmosphere perfectly. If you want to feel the weight of command, this is the one. And now for something a little bit different. Before we reveal the heavy hitter at number 1, we have to take a quick detour into the honorable mentions. And we're starting with something, well, something completely different. Generals, I give you Duckolian. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a first person shooter set in the Napoleonic era, but every soldier is a duck. You've got mallards wearing frock coats and northern pintails charging with bayonets. It's hilarious, it's chaotic, and honestly, it looks like a blast. If you've got kids and want to introduce them to the era without the grime reality of 18th century medicine, or if you just need a laugh after a long campaign, this might be the one. On to a more serious note, we have to talk about a true channel favorite, Master of Command. You guys know I love this game. We've covered it extensively, and it just keeps getting better. They recently rolled out a massive rework of the systems and balancing that really freshens up the gameplay. But the real news, the first paid DLC focusing on Sweden is dropping in the next couple of weeks. I am incredibly hyped to see how the Swedes shake up this gameplay. If you haven't checked out my recent videos of the rework, do yourself a favor and go catch up on those videos before the DLC arrives. Drum roll, please. And finally, we have reached the summit. My number 1 most anticipated Napoleonic title is none other than Grand Tactician Napoleonic Wars. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because these are some of the same masterminds behind Grand Tactician Civil War. They've already proven they can handle massive theater-wide conflict, and now they are bringing that expertise into the era of the little corporal. I have a bit of a confession, generals. I actually missed out on the Civil War game. When it first launched, it was so robust, honestly, a bit intimidating, and it had a fair share of bugs that it made me hesitate. I stayed on the sidelines, but seeing the progress they've made there and seeing how they've refined the engine, I am totally here for the Napoleonic version. I am not making the same mistake twice. I am charging in with the old guard on day 1. Now let's talk scale. We aren't just looking at icons on a map, we are talking 1-to-1 scale battles. When you see a brigade on the game, it looks like a brigade. The battlefields are generated from actual topography, meaning the ground you are fighting on is the ground they fought on in 1805. The visuals are what I call epic realistic. It's got that gritty oil painting aesthetic that really makes every screenshot look like it belongs in a museum. Why is this number one? Because it's more than just a battle simulator, it's a total war simulator. You are managing military doctrine, you are appointing specific officers based on their traits and, yes, their egos, and you are managing supply lines that actually matter. If your trained artillery gets bogged down in the mud of Poland, your cannons aren't firing. It's that cohesive narrative, the feeling that your decisions in a small skirmish in Italy will ripple across the entire European theater, that sets this apart. This is the game that promises to let us live the entire Napoleonic saga from the rise of the Republic to the fields of Waterloo. It's deep, it's gorgeous, and it's clearly the grand title to beat in 2026. If you have your eyes on only one game on this list, make it this one. There you have it, generals. Whether you are looking for the uncompromising hardcore realism of a Prussian courier system, the one-to-one scale majesty of a grand campaign, or, well, ducks, 2026 is truly shaping up to be a golden age for our community. We are finally seeing the variety and the depth that this era of history deserves. The War of Dots was just beginning, the real conquest starts now. But now I want to hear from the War Room. Which of these five is sitting at the absolute top of your Steam wish list? Are you a team realistic logistics? Or are you ready for the competitive tactic grit of veterans? Also, have you managed to get your hands on any of these demos yet? I want to know if your experience matches the hype, so drop your field reports in the comments below. If you enjoyed this briefing, do your duty and hit that like button and subscribe to Mr. Bunal Gaming. And a huge shout out to the Bunal Brigade. Your support is what keeps the empire growing. We've got a lot of ground to cover this year. I'm glad to have you in the ranks. Until next time, generals, I will see you on the battlefield.